Why I think the Bell 249 PAH-2 Cobra should be added to War Thunder. No, I have created a separate video on the full real history of this helicopter, but wanted to do a separate video on adding it to the simulation game of War Thunder. In my life, I've been fascinated by the Cobra family of attack helicopters. I served 10 years in the Army Guard in an attack helicopter battalion that flew the AH-1S modified Cobras. Later in life, I revisited my Cobra fixation by reading all the books I could find. I started playing War Thunder when I stumbled across information that helicopters were coming to War Thunder, including my favorite, the Cobra. In War Thunder, there are several versions of the Cobra, so why add a new one? Aside from my fascination with the model, it would be a gap filler. War Thunder only has a few attack helicopters left to add to the game, as most would be a direct copy-paste of existing types. This one would be a bit different. A Cobra that would have night vision on par with the Apache, could carry European missiles if needed, and since it was tested by the German military, Gaijin could add a version of the Cobra to the German tech tree, likely as an event vehicle. The Bell 249 prototype. It was a one-off that was never pursued, but was actually quite useful as a testbed. Many of its unique features were to find themselves added to later versions of the twin-engine Cobra. As War Thunder has had many prototypes to fill gaps in tech trees, adding one that actually flew, as opposed to just being a paper vehicle, would not be out of the question. Since there are several proposed versions of the 249, including the PAH-2, most of the proposed upgrades were in fact tested on the Cobra airframe, just not all at the same time. The first of these versions was the improved attack Cobra, sometimes referred to as the Cobra 2 or Cobra 2000 in Bell publications. Also a small wing model called the ASH or Advanced Scout Helicopter. That was a lightly armed scout for the AH-64 that could have included a mass-mounted sight. The mass-mounted sight was later used on the OH-58D and is already modeled in the game. This version was to feature a 1723 shaft horsepower General Electric T700-GE-701 engine, multiplex wiring, and a full IR sensor sighting system in place of the standard optronics package. The helicopter would therefore be capable with both the AGM-114A Hellfire and TOW missiles. This was a feature that was later incorporated into the AH-1 Whiskey, and possess a realistic night adverse weather capability and perform better during NOE or Nap of the Earth flight. And either a total of 4 FIM-43 Red-Eyes or FIM-92 Stingers could be mounted in twin pods on each of the wingtips. The planned production of the PH-2 for the Bundeswehr would also be fitted with several additional improvements over the version tested. Firstly, the M65 TSU would be replaced with the TADS slash PNVS as featured on the AH-64 Apache, which would provide a significant jump in capability compared to the M65. The Apache PNVS system was in fact flown on many Cobras as trainers to avoid risking Apaches and to get the pilots familiar with the system. The hot missile would also be integrated as well as the improvements present on the AH-1F. The proposed empty weight would have been about 6,611 pounds, and a takeoff weight with 8 hot missiles would be estimated at 9,230 pounds, or with 8 Hellfire at 9,855 pounds. The proposed max speed was 155 miles an hour, and with a 2.5-hour endurance. One benefit to the game would be that most, if not all, of these systems are already modeled in the game, so their addition would be easier. The Model 249 in real life went on to become a test helicopter for the Army's Advanced Rotorcraft Integration, or ARTI program, which was essentially a test run of the avionics system to be used in the LHX. The Model 249 would continue to be used as a demonstrator before eventually being converted into a regular AH-1F and returned to the U.S. Army, later being withdrawn from service and sent to depot. It would have been better that this airframe would have gone into a museum, as it had essentially served as an AH-1G and AH-1Q, the AH-1S prototype, the Bell 249 and PAH-2 demonstrator, and the RD test helicopter, as well as an AH-1F fully modernized Cobra. As this helicopter was historically significant, I think it would be a good addition to War Thunder. I hope that you have found this history interesting, and if you also play War Thunder, understand why I'd like to see it in the game.